Hey everyone, Ahmed here. This episode is dropping on 9/11, and I couldn't help but remember that, it's been 22 years since it happened, and we haven't had another one in that 22 years. And that's because when I was in fifth grade, the year that 9/11 happened, later that school year, I was elected as the exemplary DARE student. I got the DARE Leadership Award. They looked at me and they said, this kid would make an excellent tattletale or cop. And in my end of year speech as the DARE leader, I made promises and gestured toward not allowing something like 9/11 happening again. And I think it's safe to say I've had an unimpeachable record since then. We indeed have not had a single 9/11 style event since then. So just never forget that it is I who has an unimpeachable record of stopping 9/11. Enjoy the episode. Okay, we're recording.
We're back. Guess who?
Yeah,
I'm Yasmin,
I'm Ahmed.
and welcome to the Feel Between. We've been gone for a while. We're happy to be back. I think we've just been adjusting to me starting work and us adjusting to life here.
Mm-hmm.
But it's nice to be back. We missed this and missed recording. What have we been up to?
Me, not much.
You've been learning how to sew.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I've been doing that.
Yeah.
It's fun.
He's progressing remarkably fast. You're very systematic in the way you learn things. It's really fun to watch.
Yeah, I started out because I got a vintage sewing machine, so I'm just kind of... My plan is to start learning the machine, or I have been learning just how the machine works. I took it apart and kind of cleaned it. And then I want to learn the different stitches and their application. And then I'm also just trying to learn about different fabrics. And so I'm just sewing on like random scrap fabrics because I figure that's the best way to learn.
And your idea is to make like little miniatures of things, which makes sense practically, but it also looks adorable.
Yeah, I started because I have a pattern for a tote bag that I want to make, and I bought some nice fabric for it, but I'm nervous to mess it up, so I was messing around with a bunch of scrap fabric yesterday, and I just made like a miniature tote bag.
It's for like a little doll. It's very cute.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think through that process, it just kind of was like, oh, this makes sense to do because you don't use a lot of fabric, and I mean, it's scrap fabric anyway, so it's a good way to kind of like learn the construction of things without wasting a lot of good fabric.
Totally.
Yeah. I've been teaching.
Adjusting to work. Yeah. Love the job, but like all new jobs, it's definitely like a learning curve. And I went home to New York to surprise my mom for her birthday, which was so much fun. So I left like Friday last week at, I don't remember, like 7 a.m. And then I got home Sunday night, and then Monday I kind of still wanted to chill because it was Labor Day. So I sort of lost a few work days and really felt that this week. I feel good most days, just the days that I'm like teaching, I feel like I can't breathe all day. And then when I get home, I'm like exhausted. So I'm trying to work on that flow because I don't want to feel that tired when I get home.
Yeah.
I don't want to feel stressed on the days that I teach. So anyway, just basically figuring out how to organize things a little bit better. I think in a dream world, you're supposed to, they say, as a professor, do like 40% of your time is teaching, 40% of your time is research, 20% is service. I think right now like 90% of my time is teaching, so I just have to, I mean, it's only been 2 weeks, but reshuffle that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but because of that, I also feel like a little boring. I feel like I haven't been really nurturing any of my like personal hobbies or interests, but it's also been only 2 weeks and I could take some time to adjust. So I think, you know, in the next month, looking forward to kind of trying to find that balance. Right now, I'm like, all I really have time for or that I want is to like get things smoother at work and keep on working on like building friends and community. So it's like, it's okay if I'm not working on other things right now.
Yeah. We've been biking around a lot.
That has been so fun. Yeah, Ahmed got a fancy boy bike for his birthday, which is coming up.
Yeah.
Very soon, actually. What day is it today? Your birthday is in 10 days?
Yeah.
Yeah. But he got a very fancy bike. And yeah, it's been fun. The hills here are no joke. I like regularly get off my bike to walk up them.
Yeah.
But it's a really fun way to see the city.
I think you could do the hills if you had a nicer bike.
Let's keep saying that because I like to believe that, but I don't know if it's true. It would probably help, but I think it's just like also stamina and endurance and practice. I'm sure it'll get better also with time. But yeah, it's really fun. The city's really compact and just like a fun way to get a feel for how neighborhoods kind of fold into each other.
It's a good way to experience the city.
Yeah, definitely.
I kind of want to try biking that riverfront trail while there's a Steelers game going on because you can ride across from the
I feel like that'd be
stadium.
so chaotic.
No, why?
Because everyone will be out drunk for the Steelers game.
Yeah, but they're across the river. You just watch the stadium from across the river.
Oh, that's cute. You wouldn't, I mean, the trail
go
goes
down to
on both sides, but you
Park.
could just go on that side. Yeah. Or just do like that from there, Southside Flats. And that whole trail we haven't really done yet. We did the part by Point Park, but there's a lot more of it. That'll be fun to check out.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. It seems like it borders like almost all of the rivers, right? Like most of the rivers, I think, have bike trail.
I'm not sure. I have
You got the bike map there?
the map here. Maybe. We can look at this later.
But there's lots to bike, basically.
There's a lot to do.
Within the city, like not by the water, some there are protected bike lanes. It's not as good as like other cities I've lived in, like Portland, but it's certainly like more extensive than like North Carolina. So it's decent. It's not like the best city to bike in, but it's not the worst.
Drivers here are a little...
They're a little mean. The
ruder.
drivers
Yeah.
in the South are a lot nicer.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've gotten like honked at a few times. And one time I was already feeling sad and it made me
Not
really
in a
sad.
sexual way either.
No,
It's honked
yeah.
at, like they're annoyed with you.
Right, like yeah, good clarification. I've gotten honked at as a corrective or as like a irritation. Yeah, which I didn't ever get in North Carolina. That was sad. If I got a honk in North Carolina, it was, you know,
Yeah.
hitting on me,
Mhm.
not mad at me for biking.
Yeah. But that's it. Just living life.
Yeah.
La vida loca.
Still very much getting settled, I would say. Still actively working on that. So
It's finally cooling down, so that's great.
it feels nice. Yeah, it's kind of weird. Like in the mornings when we wake up, it's pretty cold. I mean, relative to what it would be in the South, at least.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One of my coworkers was telling me that North Carolina just broke a high temperature record, like consecutive days it was above 100.
Oh God, like right now, like in
Yeah, I think
September.
within the last week. Yeah.
Oh gosh, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Yikes. Yikes.
Yeah. All right. What do you want to talk about?
Why don't you start us off? I know you've got a lot of items, and I'll interject mine when it makes sense.
No, you start. I started last time, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
I have one item.
Okay.
But it's a good one. Oh, we should say this episode is going to be just kind of like a fun items episode.
Yeah.
But our next one will hopefully be a reading, which we're excited about.
We're planning an episode on like Muslim Manosphere stuff, but I think it's going to take a little bit more production on my end to really collect clips.
And more prepping for both of us too, just for the research part of it. But I'm excited for it. I think it'll be fun.
Yeah.
So this was a New York Times article that was published on August 23rd, so about 2 weeks ago now. And it's called Can Shrinking Be Good for Japan? A Marxist bestseller makes the case. And I'll just read a little bit of it. There's something about the article that I thought was so sweet and kind of understated. When Kohei Saito, sorry, I don't know how to say that name, but decided to write about degrowth communism, his editor was understandably skeptical. Communism is unpopular in Japan. Economic growth is gospel. So a book arguing that Japan should view its current condition of population decline and economic stagnation not as a crisis, but as an opportunity for Marxist reinvention sounded like a tough sell. But the book was a blockbuster, so he published it in 22, 500,000 copies. It was called Capital in the Anthropocene. I'm always bad at saying that. He's a philosophy professor at the University of Tokyo. And it's really just kind of sweet. I appreciate how much he talks about his own personal journey to Marxism as like a kind of natural understanding of consequences around him. So there's been this idea in Japan for decades that you got to grow. But now, whether it's like caring for the country's growing population that's like really, really aging, or thinking about climate change, a lot of people are like, what are we growing for? Like, what are we pushing for when there aren't sort of basic social safety nets? And it was just interesting to see like how popular the book is and how much it was unexpected. And then the author himself talks about how in high school he was sort of more right wing, but he encountered Marx and it kind of changed his whole perspective, especially thinking about the environmental disaster. And kind of one way that he's put that into practice in his own life, which is more about the kind of environmental part of things, is that he's with a group of other people has purchased land in the mountains in west of Tokyo, and they're trying to like run a collective, like a gardening collective. And he does a lot of interesting stuff, about also just the importance of like slowing down and of living not just for like particularly producing capital, but thinking about like agriculture and so food movements. But anyway, yeah, I thought it was really lovely.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think a lot of people are starting to realize that now in some ways, where they're just like, a lot of these economies are just very extractive and it's not sustainable to just have growth forever. So I'm glad that's catching on in at least part of the world.
Yeah, and I think especially thinking about the aging population is like a really interesting thing in terms of what does it mean to care for elders, and like that's not necessarily economically profitable, but if there's so many more people aging than there are people entering the market, then like something has to change. And what would it mean to kind of like, he talks about what it means to think about society beyond GDP in terms of just like happiness, or in terms of like how we care for like elderly and things like that, which again, they're kind of like basic concepts, but I think it's like cool to see that they've caught on and that it was done in such a way that doesn't seem overly dogmatic, but sort of like a natural consequence of looking at society and kind of like gently commenting on it.
Yeah, I think when you start to place like human worth at the center of a system that you would like to build, it quickly kind of moves you away from a capitalist model. Like it has to, because I mean, I think it just moves you away from a capitalist model just because a lot of the things that you have to do and produce are not really profitable entities that are gonna, like a public transit system is gonna grow as much as it needs to just serve the population, and you probably will operate it at a loss, and that's fine, but you still just need to redistribute money toward it. Nursing care facilities, to the extent that they exist, or affordable housing, like these things are not going to make money, but they need to happen. So yeah, I can
and
totally
in some ways
that.
it will like save money, but yeah, that's whether or not they do shouldn't be the main point.
Yeah. I mean, I don't even know if they'll save money, right? Like a lot of people try to pitch these things. I don't know, maybe. Like I know there was like a big Mercatus paper that came out a couple years ago that was trying to show how federal spending would increase if we had, by $2 trillion over 10 years if we had universal health care. But they didn't show that, or like overall spending or whatever, but they didn't show that the spending that happens today plus the federal spending, is projected to be more than
that amount.
Total federal spending. So yeah, probably some things will save money, but then that's like, I guess, not even the main argument for it. The main argument is just like it's good for people, and
right.
Also some things should just stop being made just because they can be, like a bunch of tiny plastic toys. Right. And like, just, you remember when we went to the Thomasville flea market, and I'm just like, I know this shit is like how people are, making money here, but these are just like the cheapest, most highly reproduced like little plastic toys or trinkets or whatever, and they're just gonna end up in a landfill somewhere. I'm like, it'd be better to just like pay people to not sell the stuff and to not produce this stuff. Because I feel like the long term of it is just, a lot more costly. Because you got to make it. That's bad. You got to ship it here. That's bad. Anyway. Yeah. So I'm on board with that idea.
Oh, one more line, sorry, that I liked a lot was that like people in Japan feel dissatisfied with the status quo, he says, but they aren't thinking capitalism is bad. They're thinking I'm bad. And that seems to be something that's really kind of gotten a lot of people's attention. Like, it's not that I'm not working hard enough. It's not that I can't be happy. It's like the system around me is the problem. So just his way that he kind of phrased that seemed helpful.
Yeah. Yeah, a lot like the, what's his name, the Mark Fisher kind of capitalist realist thing is good to not internalize that system. Okay, are you ready?
Yeah.
This, I don't know if you've been seeing any of the news about the escalation of gender reveal deaths.
No. I thought that people were starting to back away from that. People are still doing those?
Oh, no, people are dying to do it, literally.
God. Yikes.
This clip just, I think, does a good job of summarizing some of the horrendous things which that have happened during gender reveal parties. There's one that went viral like a week ago because it involved an airplane and things did not go very well.
A whole ass airplane?
Yeah, and anyway, I'll play this clip, and it's from like this labor lawyer who I follow.
You've shown him me before, yeah.
Yeah, and this isn't related to labor law, but he kind of just talks about it. But yeah, they're kind of just becoming little domestic terrorist events.
You're gonna show
almost,
me the
yeah.
clip?
Let me make sure that volume's on.
Gender reveal parties are stupid, dangerous, and should probably be illegal. On September 5th, 2020, California was experiencing record drought and a heat wave up to 121 degrees in some places. It was on this day that a California couple decided it would be a great idea to take a smoke bomb into a dry field and light it up. Flames raced across the field, and this kicked off the deadly Colorado fire, which injured 13
this was a while ago,
people,
right?
burned 23,000
I remember this,
acres,
yeah.
destroyed multiple homes, and killed a 14-year veteran firefighter. The couple was placed under arrest and charged with 30 criminal counts. The charges included a felony count of involuntary manslaughter and multiple counts for reckless endangerment and property damage. But fatal gender reveals aren't a new thing. In 2019, an Iowa pilot was killed when his plane carrying 350 gallons of pink fluid crashed.
I missed that one.
Reveal. And last week, another pilot crashed over another gender reveal party. Are gender reveals worth it? Tell me what you think.
What do you think, they're worth it?
No, it definitely seems like a societal response to the fact that there are a lot of segments of society where like the gender binary is being questioned. Like, there's just
You think this is a reaction?
Absolutely.
The gender reveal parties are a reaction
I think absolutely,
to gender politics?
I mean, gender reveals were not a thing when my mom was a kid. Like,
really?
No, it's a very contemporary thing in the U.S.
But weren't they coupled with baby showers?
Well, first of all, we didn't have the technology back in the day to know that early, the sex of the baby, or the, like.
Yeah, but you would do things like, oh, I'm craving like pickles a lot.
Yeah,
That's
but then
a boy.
you wouldn't know for sure, so you wouldn't like hire a plane to go over.
No.
I mean,
they've gotten more extravagant, but wouldn't people have like themed like? I
think
like
there was occasionally like it's
blue.
a boy or it's a girl, but the whole kind of societal thing of like you don't tell. I mean,
Let's build
this
a
is like a very
bomb and
heterosexual
set
thing
it off.
also. Like, you don't tell your husband until the gender reveal, and then it happens in front of a lot of people. Have you been to a gender reveal? They're awkward as hell, I think.
I don't.
Not because of like the
no.
gender dynamic. Okay, aside from like the
Have
whatever. I've been to one.
Really?
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you who after, but and like people involved were very sweet and nice. But the thing that I found kind of awkward is that it was the first time that the husband was learning the gender, and he was obviously really processing it. It was in front of all of us. And I'm just like, I feel like aside from whatever you think about like binary gender, I feel like it should be like an intimate moment. It just was weird. Like,
right? Yeah.
Yeah. Like he like opened a confetti thing and it was in there, and it was like at first also like the confetti was everywhere, so they had to like find the slip that said what it was.
Disappointed? Do you think that's what it was?
Oh, I think it was her first time knowing too. She was disappointed. Yeah, but he was happy. He was a boy. She wanted a girl. That's the other thing. Like, now we're all gonna remember that, and this kid like now exists.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just like.
But they didn't hire a pilot to spill a bunch of pink fluid and
But they did like spend a shit ton of money to make like cupcakes and stuff, you know, that are very like specialized. It just, yeah, I mean, everyone should do what they want. But also apparently the person who, you've heard this, I'm sure, who popularized them in the last 10 years, their kid ended up being trans. And they've come out and been like, yeah, I kind of regret, like, I feel like I kicked off. They like had a clip that went really viral.
But it's not their fault.
No, but they really have come out and been like, yeah, I probably wouldn't do that now. Like, I didn't mean to make a strong stance about gender. I just was really into like doing parties and like.
Oh, I thought you meant the kid was like, oh, I feel bad about this.
No, the kid doesn't. I don't think the kids complain, but the kid happened to be trans and like doesn't identify with the gender they were assigned at birth. And the parent has come out and been like, yeah, now I'm kind of like, that seems sort of silly. I wouldn't do that again if I had a kid.
Yeah.
But obviously the movement has momentum. Yeah, I don't know.
They need to more accurately. It's a sex reveal party.
Yeah, I think the people who are doing gender reveal parties don't care as much about that distinguishment. But
yeah,
I mean, on the other hand, I will say, like, I feel like if I had a kid, I'd be like, yeah, however you identify is totally, like, we support you and love you and matters not at all to us.
Yeah.
But I get the impulse when you have a little girl or boy to be like, oh, look how cute she is. Look, let's put her in her dress. Like, I don't think it's terribly bad as long as you, like, give them room to, like, figure out what they want.
Yeah.
But I also don't think you need to, like, explode a plane over the... You don't have to explode a plane over the sky for anything. We don't need to spend that kind of money on a child that hasn't been born yet.
Well, I don't think they intended to explode a plane. I think it was just
that wasn't part of the
unfortunate consequence.
plot.
But I actually saw the original video.
Yeah.
And what happens is the plane is supposed to fly. It's supposed to do like a low flyover of the yard in which they're celebrating and drop a bunch of fluid or like powder or something. That's the color of... In this case, it was a girl, so it was pink. And they swoop down, they do it, and then they're supposed to obviously pull up. And as they're pulling up, the wing just like breaks off the plane and it like flips backwards. And the camera kind of follows it for a bit, but then goes back to the couple as they're like celebrating. And you can tell that the plane was crashing in the background, but whoever was filming didn't quite realize that that's what was happening. So you just see the plane tear apart, start to flip over and dive, and then it goes back to people just like jumping and screaming. So they're just like still celebrating.
Did they not see that?
I mean, I think they just didn't realize what was going on.
Okay, I hope so. I hope they weren't like, let's keep celebrating.
Maybe, I don't know. They're just
the plane may be gone, but we're having a girl.
Spiritually akin to like, you know how people in movies and like they'll show like the Taliban in the desert shooting down a plane. You know what I'm saying? And then there's like they're jumping with their machine guns. They're just like
spiritually akin. I wouldn't go that far.
You could put them side by side, and you're like, I don't know which one is which.
What?
I'm just saying.
That's a bold claim.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
We were supposed to have this was the cutest thing ever for my sister Camilla, who was my foster sister, and then we adopted later. We actually had a whole plan. We were going to have...
You were going to reveal her gender?
As a joke, we were going to have a gender reveal party after
really?
the adoption. Yeah.
Oh,
because we were all saying it's like the more appropriate time to do it. She feels she's a girl. And like it was going to be more like, oh, like we officially adopted Camilla, but then COVID happened, so we couldn't. And then she got married and we had other things to celebrate, so we kind of scratched that one off. But I think we actually had a date and like she wanted like all pink, you know, it's going to be fun, like all pink, you know, balloons and a cake.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's interesting. I actually didn't really think about them being a reaction to gender politics. I just thought it was just kind of a thing that's always happened, but now a lot of the method, like it's just an escalation of the mechanism of the reveal.
Yeah.
Because you have more and more rich
plus,
people.
I think it's also like the Instagram kind of push where you feel like you've seen it and then you feel like you need to do it. If you don't do it, you're not a good parent, or you know, you're not, if everyone in your social circle is doing it, it happens with weddings a lot, I guess. It's like becomes standard and you feel like you ought to, or, you know, maybe
do you have to get
a
gift for a gender reveal?
I don't remember if we did. I mean, I think if they also have a baby shower, then probably not.
Mm-hmm.
But if they do a gender reveal / baby shower, then I guess you should. Because there's usually a registry for the baby shower. Yeah. Okay. We don't have a baby yet.
Nope.
One day, inshallah.
The other thing that I have is...
moving right past that.
Yeah. Oh, shoot. Hold on. I have to pause real quick to... Okay. Sorry, I had to add another input to the
Our very
track.
official tech guy here.
Yeah. Because this one, and I actually haven't heard it yet, but I just heard the news story. Did you hear about the AI like singer that got a record deal?
No.
Yeah.
Weird.
So I actually don't think this is the first one. It's being reported as the first AI to like create music and then got a record deal, but I think this actually happened a while ago because I was kind of reading about the history of it, and I don't remember the name, but there was a rap artist that was an AI generated one that had a record deal, but it got quickly pulled away. And
Once
I think
they realized that the person was an AI?
No, they knew. They signed an AI artist, but it was started becoming racist or something like that. Or they thought it was like a racist caricature of a black person.
Oh, God. Wait, so if they signed them in the first place, like who was the money going to go to?
So these, as far as I can tell, the characters or whatever are being created by these like startups or media companies or whatever.
So those would get the funds from like their record
Yeah, so they
deals.
are owned by some business entity that I guess manages them.
This is so complicated. I heard this conversation a lot, and I'm sure you did too on social media, when that like art AI, people were like having their photos done, and they were like feeding their photo into an AI, and they were getting portraits done in different styles.
Well, that's the thing. Yeah, these AI are trained on real people's voices.
And that's the thing, is that like there's something, okay, I have like two minds about it. My one mind is there's like Durkheim, who's a sociologist, talks about this idea of like collective effervescence, and there is something weirdly kind of beautiful about like, oh, it's drawing from us, like it's our collectiveness. But then it's also like, oh, these are real people, real artists who aren't going to get paid and who are going to be put out of work, and they're being fed into this and spit out, and like, you know what I mean? Like actual people painted things that went into this generated image, or actual voices are kind of being used somehow to make this voice.
Yeah, and it just kind of brings out like a lowest common denominator.
And that's the other thing,
like you said. So that's one thing. Obviously, it is exploitative of people's creativity, but the more and more it catches on, the less new stuff that you get. Because this is the issue with like the writer's strikes. What they're saying is that
it's a little bit bland, it's writing, not surprisingly.
Right. And if it continues to spit that out, and then that's what's created, and then it goes back in, which is, I think there's a term for that called like data leakage. You don't want to be training it on like a model on the same data that is being outputted.
Is it like eating food again and again? No.
I mean, maybe, right? Like you're
trying to think of like an analogy.
I don't know. But it is kind of, I don't know, like, could an AI have written Sopranos?
No. Sopranos is so good. That's the thing also. It's like, yeah, it can do some basic stuff, but like there is
Law & Order probably.
And of course we all are mimicking each other, and there's no like brand new idea, but there is like a voice with artistry that I think is lost in AI. Having said that, I feel like AI is a tool, right? It's not like all or nothing. I've seen some beautiful images that people have said are AI generated, but they were given like really specific prompts to make kind of futuristic images. Mm-hmm. So, you know, like, I don't know, not like Muslims in space, but like there's been like kind of beautiful things that have been created, but yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. Do you want to hear the song?
Sure.
Well, let me find it.
What was the rapper's name?
I don't remember the rapper's name, but I can tell you this artist's name in a second. I think it's like starts with an N.
Wait, what's the difference between the artist and the rapper?
So this is a different
a different musician
different that was signed recently. Yeah.
It also gets to, remember when Saudi like gave the first robot a passport, and it was like a female robot? I forget her name. Do you remember this? It was like maybe a couple years ago. But anyway, no. She had like rights that like women in Saudi didn't have at the time. It was so dystopian.
Oh, really?
Yeah, let me look it up while you find this.
So the artist's name is Nunori. Let me actually show you a picture of her. She kind of just looks like a Bratz doll.
Oh, she doesn't. They didn't try making her look real. That's interesting.
No, she looks
like a Bratz doll. Yeah, you're right. Oh yeah. Let me just say, Sophia was granted Saudi Arabian citizenship in 2017. She was the first robot to receive legal personhood in any country. But yeah, Sophia didn't have to like wear a burqa. You know, it's just like weird.
Oh, a robot. I thought you said she was the first dinosaur.
No, she's the first robot to be granted citizenship in a country.
Ew.
Yeah.
Creepy looking.
But all right, let's hear this artist.
It looks like there's something in one of her eyes. It's a very upsetting like face. All right, so this song is called Dominoes by Noon Nuri.
Yeah, it sounds like a good generic pop song. I mean, pop must be especially easy to do this with.
Yeah, there's so much data. But it's trained on someone's voice.
Yeah.
And I don't think the person whose voice it's trained on...
Wait, are you sure it's trained on only one voice? Or is it like doing what the visual art is doing and amalgamating voices somehow?
I think it's trained on a person's voice.
Oh, that's especially fucked up then, yeah. It's sketchy.
The music,
I'm thinking about Dominoes
stuff. I don't know how that's produced, but if that's also AI generated, I bet that's like fed a lot of pop data.
Yeah. And it probably knows, like, I'm going to pause it. You only need like a chorus and like so many, you know, verses and like a clear hook. I mean, it totally sounds like it could be on the radio.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, she's signed. She's making more money than either of us.
That's weird. I kind of appreciate that they didn't try to make her look real.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would find that, what's that, like Uncanny Valley? I find that more disquieting.
But it's also, I mean, she kind of, like, how old is she supposed to be?
Yeah, that's a little weird. I hadn't thought of that. You're right. She looks a bit childlike.
Yeah.
That's such a creepy thing that's so normalized, though.
Yeah.
But you have a point. At least she's not a real person that looks like a child, I guess. But it's still weird.
Right. Anyway, so that's that on Nunuri. Let's see. All right, actually kind of somewhat related to AI generated, perhaps even more troubling.
Okay.
This is have you actually did you see what happened in Burning Man?
Yeah, that people got stuck in the mud.
Yeah, it was like kind of Mad Max out there.
Yeah.
For a little while. Sorry, I have to scroll.
Burning Man has gotten like very tech bird out,
mm-hmm.
but apparently it used to be kind of fun. And I used to daydream about going, but now I would never.
Did you really?
Yeah. Because you get to like wear fun costumes and yeah, you get to hang out, and it seemed like there was really fun different groups you could join. And it just
what
seemed
group
like
would you have joined?
There was a yoga group that seemed really sweet that they set up like a little trapeze yoga thing.
I heard there was like a Pakistani affinity group there.
Really?
Yeah.
That's really cute.
They split up.
There's
into
like everything.
Little,
yeah. But the yoga one seemed really nice to me. It's like a week-long yoga retreat in the desert.
Yeah, you just have sex with random hippies and...
I don't think the yoga one was necessarily sexual.
Really?
No.
I think Burning Man generally is sexual.
You're so conservative.
No, I think it is. I think it's supposed to be about like this sort of like freedom, and it's like, oh, there's like no money, and like we just kind of like vibe out.
I mean, I think that there are like
to,
people who obviously go and hook up, and there's probably like particular
I'm pretty
groups
sure there
for
are
that.
Like orgies and shit.
But I think
too,
there's groups for everything. Like,
yeah,
it used to be massive. Like there were people who would just go and like hook the whole time, or people who would just go and make art the whole time. And yeah.
They put together.
I mean, now I think it's literally all just like tech bros trying to leave their like corporate jobs for like a weekend.
Who was there? It was a lot of people were posting Neil Katyal. Do you remember who that is?
No.
He was briefly. He argued a case before the Supreme Court, and I think at some point he was being considered for some federal judgeship.
Oh, really?
But he already argued a case for the Supreme Court defending Nestle's use of child slaves. Yeah.
Great.
Or he was saying, to be specific, I think he was saying like Nestle's use of third-party companies, like international companies that they do business with, who use child slaves, like Nestle is not culpable in that because they don't control it.
Yikes. Yeah.
So, and he was successful in arguing that point.
Great.
Yeah. But he was there, and he was wearing this like really dorky ass, just very complicated shirt with like a propeller cap.
And he was like stuck in the mud.
And he was in Burning Man. He just, yeah.
It's funny.
My
mom's cousin used to go, who's just like a really sweet, everyday, like middle class guy that was like really into it and like had met so many people through it. So I think it depends. But I think now it seems like it's kind of gone to shit. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So, I've been seeing this one person on my feed. I think her name is Shanine Blake or Blakely. I can't remember. Just a white Buddhist kind of hippie rapper type.
Wow, it's a lot of things already. White Buddhist hippie rapper.
Yeah. It's kind of. I mean, it's like very Burning Man, very modern Burning Man.
Okay.
And I feel like she's about to kind of pop off in a way that's about to make people mad because I looked at it and now she just keeps popping up on my feed because I went and kind of was just like, what the fuck is this person? So hold on. So I'm gonna pause it there for a second. I want you to just look at her and tell me your impression.
She just looks like a generic white lady. Oh, she's got like a neck tattoo.
Ton of piercings and
a lot of piercings. She looks like an alt, you know.
Sometimes she has dreads.
Of course she does.
But like alt in a way that you can tell a ton of money was spent on it.
Yeah, she's got a little bindi on.
Yeah.
She's really mixing her
does
metaphors.
Have a bindi. Yeah, that's right.
It's like a teardrop thing, but yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Her avatar is so fine. She's got a nice voice. This sounds like a mean thing to say. She looks kind of dirty, but I guess is this like taking at Burning Man? Is she literally dirty? Maybe.
No, she's not at Burning Man. I think she's just in her van.
This is like a mean thing to say. Then I take it back. But she does look like maybe like she could take like a little shower, but that's okay.
Are the tattoos between her breasts, is that Arabic or is that Sanskrit?
God, I don't know. Let's look.
I can't tell. It's probably like some sort of mixture between the two.
I was going to say, it might not
real.
even be clear because it might have been something where she doesn't know the language is my guess, obviously.
But I think this is like a type of person. There's going to be a rise of this type of person because I think shortly before.
What do you mean there's going to be? There's already so many people like this. True. Yeah.
But.
If anything, there's like a little bit less unchecked.
Popular.
I think there has been,
really?
Yeah.
Ooh.
I mean, Selena Gomez wore a bindi for one of her music videos.
Really?
Yeah, it was actually really funny.
But that's not her whole thing. That's not Selena Gomez.
It's not. But I mean, actually, I think a lot of pop stars in their earlier careers, like, I mean, appropriation is such a complicated topic, and I don't feel like it's black or white. But, I mean, you know, there was, what's her name? Gwen Stefani with the Japanese street music, and there's plenty of people.
But that's, like, it would be if Gwen Stefani was, like, came out and tried to look Japanese from the get-go.
I think she kind of did for a little bit. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
So you're defending Shanine.
I'm not. I'm just saying I don't know if she's innovating.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But anyway, so there's the
number of cultures that she is, you know, interconnecting with is impressive.
Yeah, that's true. Here's her male counterpart, who I also have a video of.
Now it stinks of sage. Smudge my whole apartment, now it stinks of sage. Trying to clean my energy up, I've been sick for days. I don't mean coughing and wheezing, I mean a different way. I spilled this ink on the page just to release my rage. And it comes in waves. I sit and pray when I hit the stage. I'll be prepared to say everything I need to say.
This is an interesting intersection with like also like people vaguely looking for some kind of spirituality. Or like sense of connection. It's interesting.
You like this?
I know, I don't like it. I'm just like, oh, it's interesting. One of the most rewarding lessons I've ever done with students was for my Asian American religions class. We had a week on commodification of religion, and they come in strong. Like they're very against appropriation, you know, rightly so, and they have a lot of feelings.
Yeah.
But by the end of the class, they're usually like, oh, it's complicated.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah.
Okay, I have another actually. I guess I had saved another Shanine Blake video. Before I play this one, tell me what is she looking like?
I don't know. She's pulling from a lot of stuff. She's got dreads here. What's on her forehead?
Some sort of paint. It looks like
I don't know.
I think it's the sun.
Oh, okay.
Also an eye.
Wow.
And the guy she's with also has his face painted.
Okay.
This song is about taking a little bit of acid, I guess.
Life is a river, I keep
Oh my God, I forgot
about
that.
You shiver, I'm warm and you're cold.
Oh.
I'm holding your soul. Your aura is glowing.
At least she sounds better than he does.
You notice, but notice how much that we've grown.
Oh my God. It's like they just dropped any sort of like production effort on his voice. Like he just sent in like a 400 kilobyte file.
He's just like talking. Yeah.
Oh, that's so bad.
You know,
This
not
is
for
so
me.
cringy.
Maybe if I had done acid, I would feel more connected to it.
You think so?
No, I'm kidding. I think it's terrible.
Oh my God.
But more than it's offensive, I think it's just musically not great.
Yeah, no, it's like cringy on multiple levels.
Yeah.
But, to me, you know, you hate to judge people. But
Do
to
you?
me, this is someone who clearly just
Needs a little
has a lot of money
Yeah.
and no self-awareness.
Or this is like their shtick and other people like them or finding it and that's how they're making money. Probably both.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or maybe she's like, oh, yeah, I'm going to make money by pissing people off because it gets engagement.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also
Could
possible.
be it. But
Could be all of the above.
I don't see any obvious ads here, but maybe at some point.
Once she gets more views.
Yeah. Okay, what else do I have? I got two other just very random clips. One of which is very cute, if I can find it.
Even
Please have the red. Say it slowly like that. Callie, can I have the red?
Aw.
You have to put a please in there. Please, can I have the red? Yeah. Please, can I have the red? No, you may not.
the caption is most accurate depiction of being an older sister.
Yeah.
Did Yasmin do that to you?
I don't remember her being that vicious to me, but it's like from the start, this like girl's trying so hard to get out the words.
To say the thing.
And from the
Baby.
beginning, she had no shot. This woman had already decided
She's also
another
little girl. Yeah.
decided that she was going to be like, as soon as she says it, I'm going to dash her dreams.
Maya and I used to play school with our dolls. Maya, my sister.
Mm-hmm.
And she couldn't tell time yet. I could barely tell time, but what I used to do is I used to go for like 10 minutes and then she would go for like 3 minutes. I'd be like, it's been 10 minutes. You're done. And then I would take back over. But she also couldn't teach me very much because she was younger. So I thought that it made sense.
Yeah.
But she'd be like, I don't think it's been 10 minutes. I'd be like, yeah, it has been. It's because you're teaching. You can't tell. It's so much work. But I taught her all the states. So that was really helpful of me.
Did you?
Yeah. We would play a game with the dolls where we'd be like, if we had to get from this state to that state, which states would we go through?
Oh.
And then she would name them. Yeah.
That's interesting. Was she right? Because you're pretty
we
bad
were looking
about
at a map.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
you're
we
looking
had
at
a map.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because when you and I do that now, I'm like, okay, we're going
Lessons
from
in
Washington
sync.
D.C. to New York.
Oh, yeah. I wasn't saying I taught her geography. I was telling her I taught her the names of the states.
I see.
Her general familiarity.
And you're like, we're gonna go through Virginia, I think.
Well, to be fair, we've done so many long drives from North Carolina to Boston or New York. And in my head, I just like have that stuck in my head, and now I'm confused. I don't really know what we passed through going from Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
Different stuff. That's what I'm learning.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Mostly just a lot of Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's hard. we'll get there though. And then I have some other random things. I actually don't know if I care to show you this one anymore.
Pick like one or two more.
I
good
watched
ones.
I was actually watching Tucker's interview of Larry Sinclair.
Who's Larry Sinclair again?
He's the guy who's like, I sucked Obama off.
Oh yeah, that's
multiple
so
times.
stupid. I'm bored of talking about that. I
But,
do think it's
it came
funny
back
though.
up because yesterday Tucker interviewed him on his new show on X,
Yeah.
formerly Twitter.
The only thing that's funny is I've seen people tweeting being like, I loved how unhinged this is. Like, no one's taking it seriously because it's so ridiculous.
It is ridiculous. And I mean, say what you will about like whether or not you believe him. I just think I was so disappointed in how bad of an interviewer Tucker was in that.
You
like,
actually watched this?
I watched it,
Oh,
yeah, because I
God.
was just like, oh, maybe I'll be able to pull out like a clip of it or whatever. But I mean, you can tell that Tucker just doesn't really believe the guy at all.
Right.
Which begs the question is like, why did he have him on?
Probably just for the salacious clicks, yeah.
Yeah.
I think if Obama was gay, he could get it with someone who looked better than this dude.
I mean, I don't know what this guy looked like back in 1999.
Yeah, that's true. Looks rough now, though. I think life's been
like
hard.
Missing most of his teeth. Both of his hands are just in. He's wearing like wrist guards or whatever. I guess he has carpal tunnel or something in both hands. Yeah, he's had a hard life. Apparently, he lives in Mexico. But the thing that I would have asked if I was Tucker, or the thing that I would have picked at, is the fact that this guy is talking about like having getting in a limo. The limo driver introduces him to Barack Obama in 1999, who at this point has been a state senator in Illinois for 2 years and is just kind of a lecturer at University of Chicago Law School, not even a professor. You know, someone who's like doing things but by no means powerful. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And he just like, certainly you're not powerful enough to just have a limo driver bring you like boys. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, the whole premise is stupid and honestly like such a waste of time.
But the thing that makes me believe him is that, you know, public servants don't get paid a lot. Neither do lecturers at universities. And he says that at some point, Barack Obama asks him for $250 to go buy cocaine.
And
So,
yet
like,
he also has a limo. Nothing about this makes sense.
well, he doesn't have a limo. The limo driver just knew Obama and took Larry Sinclair to Obama.
Oh, okay. All
yeah,
right.
because Larry was in town for some sort of like
I'm
conference
still
or
on
something.
Twitter, even though they're like endorsing this absolute bullshit.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very silly.
But it was just kind of a really bad interview. A lot of silence and pauses from Tucker. Like, this guy's just like going off, and like Tucker just doesn't know what follow-up questions to ask or what to do.
Was it your impression, and of course you wouldn't, strictly speaking, no, but was it your impression that this was the first time you'd ever smoked crack?
No. You don't, first of all, you don't buy crack, get in a limo, and have a pipe in your pocket if it's the first time you smoke crack.
Yeah.
You just don't.
That makes sense. So,
Like Tucker Carlson is like, yeah, like that makes sense. Like that's a rational thought.
Okay. Makes sense.
No, you should keep that. That's so silly and dumb. He's like, all right, okay, yeah.
Okay. Like, just like no follow-up. I'd be like, yo, what did you guys have a conversation? What did he say?
Right.
What did he
He
sound
must.
like?
I hope part of him is dying internally that his career has come to this. Like, I hope he's embarrassed.
Just relegated to a show on a shitty platform.
Yeah, that's dying.
His
with
new
someone
set.
Who was like,
I mean,
so out
it
of
looks like he's like in a barn somewhere, which is kind of weird for him because he's not really like a salt of the earth like rancher type.
No, but I feel like all the Fox people, even though they like actually like live in New York City, are trying to like evoke like that sort of feel, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's funny.
Yeah. But you know, we'll see what comes of it. That's pretty much all I had.
Nice, far-ranging content. We did good.
Yeah, let's see. What are we at? We're at 54 minutes. That's pretty good.
That's respectable. Yeah.
So we'll do some research.
Yeah,
and
we're
put
really
together a good
excited
episode. This
for
was
this
just
next
kind of like
episode.
a, you know, what?
No, don't say that. You don't put it down. It's still fun.
I
It's
can
still
have my own
good.
opinions.
No, you
It's
can't.
good. It's fine.
Yeah, but
We're
I
gonna
don't.
put it out
You
there.
have to pitch it like with your whole heart. You can't be like, oh, it's just whatever.
Nah, these people are too smart for that.
Obviously, it is like
I'm winking at you. They're not. They're fucking idiots.
Oh my god.
No kidding.
They are not Tucker Carlson viewers. It's like fun and just like low impact for us or low effort for us, but it's still
exactly.
fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, we still
That's
are here.
all
We're
I'm
giving
saying.
it our all. We're excited about it.
We're not giving it our all.
We're
we
giving
will
it
be.
something.
You can't give it your all the time. That's capitalist.
Damn. Wow, good tie-in.
Mindset.
Good field.
That's like
That's
people are
true.
like, oh, you have to have 100% productivity all the time. Sometimes you
know
don't.
what also is really helpful, just like life advice, is like you can't give everything 100% all the time.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, you can give something 100% all the time, or at least like as much as you can. But yeah, you have to shift what is your number one priority sometimes, or even your top 3 priorities.
So true.
Yeah, you're always one of my top 3 priorities.
Oh, thank you.
Because I love you.
You are also one of my top 3 priorities, at least.
Yeah, I mean, you're my first priority, but yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
You should prioritize your damn self.
Oh shit, yeah, that's true. I guess me and then you and then other stuff.
You first?
You just had to prioritize
That's some
myself.
Titanic
What?
women and children first bullshit.
That's true.
My priorities are you,
Uh-huh.
and then you again.
That doesn't count.
Uh-huh. Because sometimes you're, Professor Yasmin.
Uh-huh.
The other times you're
Wife, Yasmin.
wife Yasmin.
I'm always both, but I'm never sister Yasmin. So that's good.
Yeah.
That's your sister.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ahmed's sister is also named Yasmin.
Yeah, thank you.
Just explaining in case they don't get it.
Yeah.
How are we gonna get me chocolate after this? I want chocolate.
I don't know. That's
I might just eat chocolate chips.
there you go.
I already ate some, but I'll eat some more.
You could make popcorn and melt chocolate onto it.
Ugh, I won't do that, but that sounds really good.
It's very easy to do.
Yeah. But then I'll eat a lot of it.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay, you could do that.
I could.
Are we gonna watch Sopranos?
Yeah, I'm gonna shower and then we'll watch.
Oh, I might have to watch it without you.
No,
Yeah.
you're not allowed to do that.
Yes, I am.
That's against the rules
You do that.
of marriage. I've never watched Sopranos without you.
Yes, you have.
No, I haven't.
Oh, you watched The Last of Us without me.
Yeah, but I've never watched Sopranos without you.
Yes, you did actually. One time
No.
I fell asleep during an
Okay, but
episode.
you're still physically with me. I just finished the
I fell
episode.
asleep and you just watched the. I fell asleep like 10 minutes into the episode.
Yeah, but okay, you were with me. I wasn't alone. I felt your presence and you were on my lap. You just weren't conscious.
I wouldn't say that's watching it with me.
Interesting. Well, I've never set out to watch it without you. The Last of Us I did watch by myself, but yeah. All right, folks. See you soon.
Okay, bye.
Bye.